Hello class, this is Dr. Fenton. In this video, I'd like to show you how to get started on the first assignment for Accounting 200L. When you follow the instructions, it tells you to open the Excel file for this project. When you do this, you will have a spreadsheet that looks like this. We have three tabs at the bottom. The first one is Raw Data, which in column A will list all the accounts we're working with. And in column B, this is where you'll start to answer these, and the first two are filled out for you, so we'll come back to this in just a minute. In column D through F, this is separate information you're going to need. This is not saying that the accounts payable account is an asset account. Also, it's not saying that the accounts receivable account is a liability. So this is information you're going to use, and as you can see, you will use the type of account along with the numbers out to the side here to identify in column B the type of account. So accounts payable is a liability account, and we're going to number that with a 2. So that's why the 2 is placed here. Accounts receivable is already done for you. It's an asset account, and if it's an asset account, we'll use the number 1, which is done. Let's go ahead and do a couple of more. So accumulated depreciation is an asset account, and you will learn that it is a contra asset account. So since it belongs with the assets, we'll use the number 1. So let's type in 1 right here. And follow along with the others. So additional paid in capital is a stockholders' equity account. And you can see that is labeled with a 3. So let's place 3 here. Advertising expense is an expense account. Expenses are identified with a 6. Let's enter 6 here. Allowance for uncollectible accounts, you will learn in a later chapter that that is a contra asset account, so it belongs with the assets. Let's put a number 1 here. And we'll do one more right here. Bad debt expense is an expense account, and so we'll label it with the 6. Let me show you a revenue account. So here's interest revenue, and since revenues are with the 5, we'll put a 5 here. So you'll do this for each one of these type of accounts. And let's see, we have 1, 2, 3 dividends. Of course, dividends right here. That would be a 4. So we'll put that in here. So do this for all the accounts. So what you might want to do to make sure that you keep this separate and not thinking that these are already identified by all these accounts. You can put, border around it. You can put bold in it. You can do the same thing here. We'll come to this in just a minute. These two, a border and bold. Okay. So once you complete all these, and we'll keep going, it goes all the way through utilities payable. So 57 rows, so 57 accounts you'll have to identify. Do that for every one of those. Now the next step is to go to column H and use the Ifs formula. Hopefully you're somewhat familiar with that formula already. What we're going to do is say if cell, for example, B1 is equal to a 2, like it is here, we want in column H along this line for this to be equal to the name liability. So the correct item we're going to say is if B2 is equal to a 2, then the answer here is liability. For example, accounts receivable. If this is B1, we want the answer to show up here as an asset. So let's see how this works. So type in equal IFS, open the parentheses, and then go with B1 is equal to 1. Now we know it's not. We know B1 is equal to 2, but we want to put the possibilities down for all of these. So if B1 was equal to 1, comma, then the answer would be $D, $1. Now the reason I use a $sign here is to lock in the value in that cell. Because once we get this long formula done, we're going to be able to easily take the formula, grab this, bring it all down to all the accounts, and instantly all the answers will be given to us. So we have to lock in the answers for each of these. What we need to do now is show what the answer should be if the B1 item is a 2. So that's what we talked about a minute ago. So comma. So if B1 is equal to a 2, comma, we want the answer to be whatever's in the box of D2. And so this is the answer we're going to see in a minute when we finish this. So again, if B1 right here is equal to a 2, we want this answer to be liability right here. I'll do one more, stockholders' equity. I'll put a comma here. So if B1 happen to be equal to a 3, then, okay, I need to go B1 equal to a 3, then the answer would be whatever is in D3. I'm going to end it here, put the parentheses here, and you can see the answer ended up being liability. What you'll need to do back in this formula here is continue with dividends, revenues, and expenses. So you continue with this. If B1 is equal to 4, you put, D4 is the answer, and you keep going. Once you get all the formula, what you can do is grab this bar and bring it down. And of course, I have not given an answer for most of these. And of course, the reason you don't see an answer out to the side of dividends or for interest revenues because I did not put these possible answers in the formula. So at this point, you'll have all these numbers identified using numbers 1 through 6. You'll have all the accounts then identified with the type of account using these words here. And the next step then is to go to column M. The next step is to use column N and use another IFS formula. So again, you can either type it in to start with here, which I'll do in this one, equals IFS, open the parentheses. What we're going to do here is now in column M show which financial statement the accounts appear. And we only have 2 choices in this assignment. We don't have the stockholders' equity statement, and we don't have the cash flow statement here. So we're just dealing with the balance sheet and the income statement. So just 2 choices as the answer. What we want to do is to have this formula say if H1 is equal to an asset, if the answer here is an asset, it goes in the balance sheet account. And balance sheet will appear here. If H1 is equal to liability, which it is, if these 2 are the same words, it also goes in the balance sheet account. So that would be the answer. We keep going and we say if H1 is equal to stockholders' equity, this D3 cell here, then that's a balance sheet account. Balance sheet would still appear. So let's look at this. So we're going to say if H1 is equal to the word in D1, then the answer would need to be D8. Which of course it isn't. Let's get to the one that is true. So if H1 is equal to D2, which it is, then the answer would be balance sheet, which is D8. Lock that in. And keep going for the rest of these. I'm going to go one more. So I'm going to say if H1 happened to be equal to stockholders' equity here in D3. Whoops, D3, here we go. Then the answer would be whatever is in D8 again. Now, you'll keep going, and so again, this formula is going to be a lot longer than where I'm stopping here. You'll need to do the same thing with these 3. So just continue on out. I'm going to stop here, so I won't show you all of the answer, and hit equal, and there's the answer balance sheet. So since one of those items were true, H1, this word equals this word, and we said then the answer would be balance sheet, which it is. Now let's grab this formula, bring it down a few, and we can see that some of these others that we have answers for fill out. So liability is a balance sheet account. Asset is asset here, balance sheet account. Stockholders' equity, balance sheet account. And so here are the answers. So again, you'll have answers for all these. So you'll have the formula taken out all the way. Whoops, we don't do that. you'll have the formula taken down all the way to all 57 rows down here when you finish. And you'll have answers for all of these, just like you would here and over here. So that is on the first tab what your answers will be. Okay, now let's go to the second tab. So click on Accounts, and you'll see the page is mostly empty, but we do have 3 headings up here, so don't change these. Now what we need to do is go back to the Raw Data tab, copy everything in this column. Let's go to number 57. So let's hit Control-C, click the Accounts tab, and we have the cursor, put it right here in this cell, and Control-V to paste. So all the accounts come over. Now we need to put information in column B. Here we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to put this cursor in B2, and then we're going to hit the equal sign. So that's equal to, go back to the Raw Data tab. We want that to be whatever we have in H1. Click here. You can see this populates up here in the formula. And then here you only need to hit the Enter button. Hit Enter, and you can see the word liability comes over. So we want the word to come over, not the formula in the cell. So we want the answer to come over, not the formula. Once you do this, again, grab the little bottom part here, bring it on down through all the accounts right to here. You can see most of them don't have answers because we didn't complete the rest of it. Do the same thing for the financial statement. Click here, equal, Raw tab, M1, populate, and hit Enter. The answer comes over. Grab this, bring it down, and now we put all the answers in these 3 columns. So again, your answers will be all populated here. I've just done part of this. You'll need to do the rest of it. Now once you have all the information in this tab filled out, as you can see in your instructions, we need to sort this data. We're going to sort it by the classification, which is this column here, and we want these to be presented in, first of all the assets, then the liabilities, and so forth. So to do this, I'm going to click on the Data tab at the top, click on the Sort button. We get this box. Now the instructions do tell you we're going to sort by classification. Cell values is correct, and the order will be, look at the custom list, and this should be in your Excel file already. Click here. If this is not here and you don't see this populated, you'll need to create your new list, type all these names in, be careful with your spelling, and then click Add. This is here. I've clicked this. It shows up the entries I need. I'm going to click OK, and hopefully you have this set up now. Classification, cell values, and here's the order. Let's click OK. Now what it'll do is list all the assets first, and again, I've only done very few of these. So you can see the few that I've done, they do have assets listed first, and then liabilities and the stockholders' equity. And when you finish, you'll have a lot more assets, liabilities, and equity accounts. Then you'll have dividends, then revenues, and then expenses. So that's how you will sort this data. The final step in this project is to create a chart of accounts. So click the tab at the bottom, Chart of Accounts, and you'll see all these boxes are empty. What we need to do is to list the various accounts in these boxes. Of course, all the assets will go in this one, but list them in order in which you would see them in the financial statements. So we always see cash first. So what we'll do is make sure that this box is highlighted. Click Equal, go back to the Accounts tab, and find the cash account. It's down here, and then hit Enter. Cash pops up. The next one, you should know by looking in your textbook that accounts receivable is almost always shown next. So hit Equal, go back and find accounts receivable right here, then hit Enter, and you do that for all of your assets. Again, make sure they're in order in which you would see them. Like for example, next would be in here, go Equal, go back to the tab, and then you would put down allowance for uncollectible accounts. Click here, hit Enter. When you get down to the buildings and equipment, you would list those, and then you would list the accumulated depreciation account after them. And liabilities, for example, click Equal, go back to the tab, and accounts payable is always listed first. Click here and hit enter. So build this chart of accounts for every category. The order that you list the accounts in each category is very important. Go back and read the instructions for this assignment, and it will tell you that the order of the items within each table must match the order listed in the file named chartofaccounts.pdf. You can find this file in the resources link on SimNet. So again, be very careful in how you list the accounts, whether it's under expenses, whether it's under assets, revenues. Go back and list them in the same order as in that PDF file. If you don't do that, then it will be counted incorrect. So again, read the instructions and follow the instructions closely. Now, before I end the video, let me show you one more option. Let's go back to the raw data. And remember, we have these formulas here and here. These long formulas. Another way to enter these, let me go ahead and delete this. And I'll go ahead and delete all this column here. Delete. And go back to the top. What you can do is go to Home, hit, let's go to Formulas. Yeah, go here. Recently used. So if you already used a formula, like I have IFS, it might be sitting here. Click here, and you'll see like a helpful box to get started. And now you can use if such and such, then here is the amount I want placed in this cell. So in this you would say, like we did before, if cell B1 is equal to 1, then you want the asset listed here. So you would type B1 equal to 1, let me with the caps, then you want the answer to be D1. Logic test number 2, you can go if B1 is equal to the 2, which it is here, then you want the answer to be liability, which you can see is D3. So $D, $3. And as you add more, you can scroll down and keep adding these. If such and such, then here's the answer. So do that for each one. And so this might help you more than just trying to type it all the way across and try to keep up with the commas and so forth. So I wanted to throw this in. I'll click OK. You can see the answer here. Whoops, is not the right answer. So what I would need to do is to change this. This should be D2. And now there's a liability. So make sure your formulas are correct and you'll get the correct answer. Okay. The same thing over here. Let me delete this and go ahead and delete some of these, just get them out of the way. So again, start here, recently used, IFS could be there for you. If not, you can go find it, IFS, and then again, here, if H1 is equal to, I'm going to go ahead and put like D2 here, just go ahead and show the answer. If it's equal to D2, then you want placed into cell M1 the balance sheet. So you can click here if you want to make it quicker, and then OK, and there's the answer. Of course, you'll have a lot more in this formula than what I showed you. Again, when you end up with the correct formula, this will be a very, very long formula across the top, but you can use this function if you want to make things easier. Okay, so good luck with your I don't know what I did there. Good luck with your project. Again, email me if you have any questions, and we'll see you online.